Good evening to all and welcome to the session 200 Grammar Rules. Today, rule number 168. This is based on conquered. Conquered means what? Conquered means harmonious relationship of different grammatical units. Conquered as an exam topic, as a topic, you have to know what it means. When in a particular sentence, when we use the different grammatical units, there should be harmonious relationship. Based on that, the definition of conquered is harmonious relationship of different grammatical units. And the most important dimension, there are so many dimensions like parts of speech related, tenses related, phrases related, and the most important dimension is subject verb agreement. That also comes under conquered. Let us see rule number 168. It goes with phrases. There are two phrases you have to remember from the exam point of view. First one is the number. What is the phrase here? The number. And what is the rule? The phrase the number always takes a singular verb. This has been given many a time. The number takes a singular verb. The number of students has gone up. What is the subject here? Subject is a phrase, the number. After that, we have another phrase of students. Don't consider the second phrase. If you look at the first one, we have two phrases here, 1 and 2. What is the first one? The number. That is a subject also. Because the rule says we have to use a singular verb. The number has gone up. Singular verb. In the exam, they may give the number of new students have gone up. If you focus on the word students, you may think have gone up is correct. But what is the subject here? The number. And of students, of the new students, that's a phrase we don't consider. The number has gone up. The number of tourists visiting the place has become quite substantial. Here we have the number, again, clause 1, the subject, of tourists. Another phrase. Here, phrase 1, phrase 2. And visiting the place, this is again extension of visiting the place. All these you should not consider. Focus on the number. The number have become or has become. Because it takes a singular verb, has become. The number has become quite substantial. Substantial means considerable. The number has become quite substantial. The number of tourists visiting the place has become quite substantial. This is a bit confusing because a lot of students may focus on tourists, which is a plural. They may think something is wrong with this. They may think of the plural verb. But do remember, in English, subject-verb agreement, very important dimension. Especially when it comes to bank exams, SSC also, many a time they have given questions based on subject-verb agreement. Here the subject is the phrase the number and it takes a singular verb. The number of cases. Of cases is a phrase. Don't consider the phrase. The number has come down. This is an important rule. Rule number 168. All of you remember, if you know the rule, it is rather easy. If you don't know the rule, then it becomes, same question becomes a tough question. As simple as that. Let us go to rule number 169. This also goes with conquered rules, phrases related. The phrase a number always takes a plural verb. The number takes a singular verb, a number takes a plural verb. Look at the examples. A number of students haven't turned up today. Sentence is in present perfect negative form because today, incomplete time period, we should use present perfect. A number of students haven't come today, have not come today, have not turned up today. A number of books are lying over there. What is the subject? A number, the phrase a number. Of books is a phrase don't consider. A number of books are lying, not is lying, are lying over there. A number of flowers are on display. This is a phrase, don't consider the phrase. A number, that phrase is the key phrase. A number takes a plural verb based on that are on display, not is on display. But in my opinion, as far as my knowledge goes, they have not given this maybe once or twice. They have given many a time rule number 168. What is rule number 168? The phrase the number takes a singular verb. That you have to remember. Coming to rule number 170. Still with conquered rules, phrases related. The phrase many a takes a singular verb and a singular noun. Even this phrase is important. It has been given many a time. What is the phrase here? Many a. And it takes a singular verb, a singular noun. Look at the example. Many a bird, singular, has a singular verb, visited the sanctuary. In the exam, they may give many a birds have visited. Not correct. You can say many birds have visited. That's a different pattern. Always remember in English, we have many patterns. We have about 350 sentence patterns. And same idea we can express using different patterns. For the same idea, you can say many birds have visited the sanctuary. You can also say many a bird has visited the sanctuary. When you use a phrase many a, remember you have to use a singular noun, singular verb. Same idea you can say many birds have visited. Many a book has been bought by them. Many a book, singular noun, has been bought. Present perfect passive voice has singular verb. Singular noun, singular verb. Bought by them. Many a disease has broken out. Break out is a phrasal verb. What does it mean? To start suddenly. It goes with war, clashes, diseases, fire, volcanic eruptions. And here broke out, broken out, past participle form. In the exam, they may give many diseases have broken out. No error. They may give this one, many a diseases have broken out. Then it is wrong. When you use a phrase many a, remember noun should be singular, verb also should be in the singular form. Many a disease has broken out. Means started suddenly. This is also an important rule they have given many a time. Rule number 171, conquered rules, fraction. If a fraction is the subject, then there's an important rule you have to learn and remember. If a fraction is the subject, the verb agrees with the noun in the phrase that follows the fraction. Sounds a little confusing but very simple. Imagine subject is a fraction like 2/3. Then this fraction is followed by a phrase. In that phrase there is a noun and the verb agrees with that particular noun in the phrase that follows the fraction which is the subject. Look at the example, you understand. What is the subject here? 2/3, that is a fraction. If a fraction is the subject, of the book is a phrase. The verb agrees with the noun in the phrase that follows the fraction. So what is the phrase that follows the fraction? 2/3. What is the phrase that followed the fraction? Of the book. In this of the book there is a noun. What is a noun? Book. Book is singular, so we have to use a singular verb. 2/3 of the book is interesting. Look at the next example. Same subject. What is the subject? A fraction. Followed by a different phrase. Of the books. Of the books is a phrase that followed the fraction. And of the books, what is the noun in this phrase? Books. Because books plural, in this example we have to use a plural verb. Based on that, are interesting. 2/3 of the book is interesting. 2/3 of the books are interesting. Coming to the third example, 2/3 of the boxes are damaged. Here 2/3 of the boxes What is a key word? What is a noun here? Boxes, plural, are damaged. We need to use, based on the noun in the phrase, we have to use the appropriate verb. This is also an important rule, but I've got something to tell you. When you listen to a rule like this, it seems very easy because fraction, subject, 2/3, and the rule says the phrase, in the phrase, if there is a noun, it is in singular form, we have to use a singular verb. If it is in the plural form, we have to use a plural verb. Very simple. Book is interesting, books are interesting. But let me tell you, in 2018, based on the same rule, SBI gave a question. That question, it was all about corals, coral reefs, and also the Great Barrier Reef. I will tell you something very important. Usually students, before 2017, when we talk about bank exams, we talk in terms of before 2017, after 2017. You may ask, sir, what is the difference? What happened before 17? What happened after? Or what is going on? What has been going on since 2017? Before 2017, if you take English section, very easy. I would say substandard, very short sentences, directly based on the rule. But 17, SBI changed the whole scenario. 17, it came up with a tough paper, very tough paper, lengthy sentences, unfamiliar context. Rules are the same. Now what I tell students, if you learn 200 rules, it doesn't mean you can answer all the questions asked in the exam. Not possible. Then you may ask me, sir, what else is required? Besides the rules, you should have the contextual awareness. What is this contextual awareness? Same rule, based on the same rule, they give a lengthy question about, based on the Great Barrier Reef. And the context talks about coral reef. But to answer, many candidates could not answer this because unfamiliar context. It goes with zoology, to be very frank. Corals are marine animals. They live in the ocean. Coral reef, collection of many corals. And the biggest, the largest is the Great Barrier Reef of the Australian coast. But it has been in the limelight. When you read the newspapers, what is the advantage? They take the questions, they take the context from the newspapers. And they have written, different newspapers, different magazines have written many articles about the Great Barrier Reef. Why is it in the limelight? Because of climate change, because of rise in temperatures. Corals are temperature sensitive. A particular optimum temperature goes up, they die. Because of climate change, you all know temperatures have gone up. And based on that, they wrote many articles, and there are two categories. 90% don't read the newspapers and magazines, 10% read the newspapers and magazines. And those who read the newspapers and magazines, for them, an easy question. Perhaps reading, they should read once or twice, they can easily spot the error. Because the context, they must have read already about coral somewhere, though they are not zoology students. On the contrary, those who don't read the newspapers, when they read a sentence related to corals, coral reefs, the Great Barrier Reef, they struggle to understand the context and they get tensed up. In that process, what happens? They forget the rule or they cannot recollect the rule, and under pressure, they cannot spot the error. Based on that, what I tell students now, to handle questions based on error location, phrase replacement, fillers, close test, word swap, word usage, you got to read the newspaper. Then what happens? Context becomes familiar. Once the context is familiar, your thinking will be more on language dimension, more on grammar dimension. Then you will be able to spot the error. Otherwise, not easy under pressure. And this question based on 2/3 of the corals or two-thirds of the coral reefs, or two-thirds of the Great Barrier Reef got damaged because of climate change. Something like that. What is the subject here? Two-thirds of what? Of the Great Barrier Reef, it is considered singular, have got damaged due to climate change and a rise in temperatures. A lengthy sentence. But very simple. Once you see two-thirds, then if you the context is familiar, you will think of the rule. But once you see two-thirds, then you don't understand the context. You start thinking about the context. What is the Great Barrier Reef? What are corals? Then you miss the point. You may not be able to spot the error. I always tell students, context is the king. If you are familiar with the context, easy to answer many questions. Otherwise, a bit difficult. So this rule is very important because they can test by giving an unfamiliar context. That will make it quite challenging. Let us continue 171. Tomorrow's session you will have 172 to 180. I will try to get more rules. And slowly the list is coming to an end. Out of 200, 171, we still have about 29. Tomorrow about 9 will be left with 20. But do remember there are two dimensions when it comes to 200 grammar rules. Teaching is not a big issue, learning is not a big issue, not a big deal. But what matters here, learn and remember. All the rules should be at your fingertips. When you read a sentence, spontaneously you should be able to recollect the rule and apply that knowledge. Second, contextual awareness. And once you know the context, you will be able to do that. But if you struggle to understand the context, then it becomes a problem to recollect the rule, apply the knowledge. Always remember, these two dimensions go hand in hand, and contextual awareness plays a vital role, a crucial role. I will see you guys tomorrow, 172 to 172 to 180. Then let us see how they go, and easy or difficult we'll decide later. Thank you very much.